Wow, football, they're a crazy thing. Crazy, crazy thing. What a couple of days it's been. It's been hard to keep up with. You know, it's been fascinating. Thank you for joining 1-0. And if you do enjoy, like, subscribe to our business. I'm Costa. Where do I start? It's a weird mood. It's weird vibes. It's crazy, to be honest with you. It's pretty crazy. So if you've been living under a rock, you haven't turned on YouTube, haven't turned on Facebook, haven't turned on Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff, you would have seen that the Super League has been announced. So the big dogs of European football have decided to part ways with their league, with UEFA, and almost start their own little thing. There's so many details in this. This could almost be a 3-hour video. I'm probably not going to explain it the best, but I'll try to explain it as well as I can. But I also want to give it to you from a point of view as someone being from Australia who's a diehard Man United fan, who I know I've got some diehard mates of Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, all those other teams, and Arsenal, where we are so far away, but for so long we felt so connected. But then right now, we've got people who are in those towns feeling so disconnected, which is making the people who actually are far away and disconnected from the actual town even more disconnected. So it's all a bit of a shambles. Pretty much what the common theme is: the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And as Bielsa said, the best thing about football is that the weak can beat the strong. Whereas right now, the strong are just pounding the weak to the floor, just abusing their power. So let that sink in. Because football is such a game where, and the Premier League, I'm going to focus on the Premier League a bit more. So if you don't know, the clubs at Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool. I might have missed one, but I think it's all good. So pretty much the top 6, the most popular clubs, which is where we continue is, what does the Super League actually mean? Because the Champions League is top 4, which means the 4 best teams from that season. Where's Arsenal on the ladder? Where's Tottenham? So it's not the best clubs. All it is the richest clubs. It's the clubs with the richest owners. The clubs where money just continues to come in, just continues to drive and drive and drive and drive. It's the clubs where all around the world people are fans of, because they've done so well to get their names out, to sign the best players, to win trophies, some of those 6 clubs, and to gain this audience and to gain this followership. Whereas at the end of the day, that's not football. You know what I mean? It's not football. The thing that I just read from Bielsa made a huge impact. I don't know, it's simple, but that's what makes football so good. I'm going to focus on the Premier League because Real Madrid and Barca are also in it, Inter Milan. But it's the best thing about why we all gravitate to the Premier League is because we saw it the other day. I know Arsenal are great, but Fulham were winning for 90 minutes against Arsenal. Doesn't happen in many other leagues, and that gets your pulse running a little bit. These close games. I don't like the idea of every week there being a huge game, because that's what I feel like makes the Champions League so much better. Because you do play some random teams in the Champions League, not random teams, but like teams that are not as strong, which is then why you get through those hard grounds to verse a big monster team, and you won't. A lot of times, these two teams won't battle until the quarterfinal stage or after then, which is what makes it so good and so good to watch and so good to talk about, so exciting to be a part of. Whereas now it's got to happen every week. I want to put it in simpler terms. It's almost like seeing Conor McGregor versus Khabib every single week. You're getting supposedly the best of the best every single week. It's got to get boring. I personally don't want to see it. I'll put it again, I'm a big fight fan. It's like again, the top 5 dogs in UFC, your Adesanya, your McGregor, your Khabib, your Ngannou, your Robert Whittaker, and saying, we're bringing in a lot of money to the UFC. We're doing a lot more than these other guys. We're huge. We can get more money if we just went somewhere on our own. And that's exactly what these clubs have done. They've all come together at a time where it also hurts a little bit, where you're seeing other clubs, smaller clubs, having to go into liquidation because they can't keep on running after COVID. It's come at a time where these guys are talking, and as Gary Neville said, these guys are talking about millions, billions of dollars during a pandemic, or hopefully at the ending of a pandemic, when there's so many other clubs that have had to stop. There's so many smaller clubs that go, we can't really do that. There's so many people from these clubs have lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it all just leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. I touched on the start that I'm from Australia. All my mates, that's our common ground. Yeah, that's the thing we all grew our friendships with, and it was football. It's every weekend we're talking about football. Every week we're playing football together. And we're so far away from these clubs. Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. We're so far away from these clubs, yet we still feel so connected. Whereas right now, it feels like everyone's lost. Because what does it really matter when Man United play on the weekend now? Because if Man United aren't in the Premier League next season, what's the point? Like, I don't get it. There's still so much confusion to everything around this situation and around this topic. But at the end of the day, I want to just get across that as fans, we all need to come together, which I'm liking to see. But they do not care about us. They do not care whether you took your son to a game, whether you went to the pub with your mates before the game, and then you came and you got out of the house. So many people just love to get out to the football as a bit of a social thing. They might not have a big interest in the team, but just to get out, to go to the football. That is getting taken away from these people. Do you understand? Because they just do not care. I'm a Man United fan. I'm not a member, but I watch every game. So technically, I'm giving the club nothing. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about him. They don't care about her. They don't care about it. They do not care. Ultimately, what this looks like is they're heading down a path of, it just screams American sports and American ways of hosting something. Because the NBA, you don't get many die-hard fans of the NBA. Everyone sort of follows the best team at the time, follows their favourite player. And I see that happening with the Super League. I see people following a Marcus Rashford a lot more than they follow a Manchester United. Because Rashford might be playing very well, marketed himself a bit well, branded himself well, releases a jumper, and then it all becomes a bit brandy and a bit gimmicky, which is something like the NBA, I personally think, is like. Which you just don't want, because football is so good. Okay, like I said, it might be all over the place because there's so much to tackle, but it also comes from the history of these clubs. They just do not care. You've got the likes of Ed Woodward and the Glazers, the Americans, Abramovich, the Man City owners, Liverpool owners, Daniel Levy. You're getting the likes of these people coming in and just picking the best of the best, feeding their table, putting money on their front doorstep, and they do not care about anything else. That's what we have to get out of our heads, is at the end of the day, I don't give the club anything. I give them my love and my care, and they give me headaches. But at the end of the day, I don't give them shit. So why are they going to care about us? And it hurt. Does it hurt? Yes, hell yeah, it does. I said it last night to the group chat. You would say, if you watch One New FC, Dimmy from the team, I said I would feel so much more hurt if I was a Liverpool supporter right now. Because as a Liverpool supporter, you pride yourself on the unity of the club. You pride yourself on you'll never walk alone. Of the cop just singing, that just gives me good. When they came and played Melbourne Victory here years ago, every time I think of 90,000 people at the MCG singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," I get goosebumps. And I hate Liverpool. I respect them, but I hate Liverpool. I don't want Liverpool to win anything. But I feel sorry. I feel bad for Liverpool fans, because I go, you guys must, just when you guys are starting to get even bigger as a European club and get even bigger in terms of success and trophies, you just feel like it's all been taken away from you. And Man United could be on the verge of something similar too, where Bruno's been playing well for us. We've been one of the worst top 6 teams in the last 6-7 years. Do we really deserve to be in there? Does Man City deserve to be in there? How many domestic trophies have they won? I mean, there's Arsenal, Tottenham. So all that is down at the end of the day is, and keep in mind, how many of these stadiums are new? Tottenham, Emirates. Yeah. All of these clubs are it's just purely just a money grab. It's just purely a money grab, which is why it hurts. Now there's so many things. There's so many things to tackle. It's what happens with the Premier League. Is it just West Ham? At the end of the day, and I might leave it on this, at the end of the day, if there is Real Madrid versus Barcelona, and then after that there is Manchester United versus Manchester City, and then after that might be Chelsea versus Atletico Madrid, I can guarantee you how many more people are going to watch those 3 games on a Saturday night or on a Friday night, as opposed to the Premier League, which everyone watches, where it's a title race between West Ham and Everton, where it's Leicester versus Brentford, who could get promoted. At the end of the day, if you put on the best of the best, people are going to watch it. And unfortunately, that's what it's led to. Because people are going to watch the best of the best, no matter how much we say it. You're not going to watch the Premier League as much as you do now, because you watch the Premier League for the best players. Now what's happened is those best players have left, and the best players in the Premier League are going to be a bit, I want to play there, because you want to play in the best of the best. The World Cup is going to get taken away. This talk saying that, if like Kante, I'll use Kante for example, plays for Chelsea, he can't play in the World Cup because his club's part of the Super League. Messi can't play in the World Cup. Ronaldo can't play in the World Cup. Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Kane. So then you lose the whole fascination about the World Cup. You lose the Champions League. What happens with the Champions League? There's so many questions that need to be raised. There are so many disappointing factors. But at the end of the day, no matter what we say, they do not care. And I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what True Geordie says, no matter what Lawrence says, no matter what George Benson says, they do not care about us. Because what COVID showed them was we can make so much money without you even being here. We can make so much money without anyone in the stadium. I do think that this Super League will become its own brand. I think the Super League will have its own subscription service. I think the Super League will have its own, there'll be a little bit more, I just see it like NBA or NFL. Eventually leading into playoffs and just being a lot more, I'm going to go buy my shirt. I couldn't tell you more than 10 players who played for the club 4 years ago. Because I think that's the fans that the likes of Kroenke, the likes of Edward would want to get. Because at the end of the day, they've got to make the money. You still need a core to progress that club even more. But I'll leave you on this note, because I know I've rambled on a bit. It's very hard to talk about. I'm a Man United fan, but I want to speak to you guys. I'm a Man United fan because my dad was a Man United fan, and I had no other choice. Do you want your kid, your son or your daughter, to jump straight into and follow a team like Liverpool playing in the Super League? Because I considered it. I don't know. Because that's not football. That's not what football's about. It's just not what football's about. You have to watch the ugly games to value the better games. How spoiled we got to take games like Real Madrid versus Manchester City for granted if we're seeing it, just throughout the week. These are big games where there should be a lot of hype around, but it's got to be a normal occasion. And we call it the Super League, but it's not the European Super League. I'll let you think about that. It's called the Super League, but they never call it the European Super League. Does Melbourne City be a part of this tournament eventually? Does, you know, what else can happen? It's a scary thought. It's a very, very scary thought that the future of football is in the hands of these rich guys just wiping it away from people's feet. And it does hurt. It's been an interesting video. I know it's a bit hard to follow maybe, but it does hurt, man. It does, because I hate seeing what's going on over there. Obviously, we're so far away from here, but it's, you know, what's the point of me watching another Manchester United game? I don't get it. You know, there's no promotion relegation now in the Premier League. How many awesome memories do we have? The Aguero moment, that's gone. All these things are just getting taken away purely for this, purely for a bit of moolah. And it's terrible. It's terrible to think. It's disappointing. Unfortunately, the last couple of videos on this channel have been negative ones, but I had to do it. I've given you my opinion. So yeah, please, I really want to know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments below. If you liked it, subscribe to all that business. But let's hope football can stay to what we know it to be. Thank you.